Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Moon Colony live stream. I'm joined here today with Rin. Hello, Rin.
Hello.
Rin is one of our associate art directors at Moon Colony. She's really lovely, so she's volunteered to come and look at some of your portfolios today. Um, we I've got in contact with everyone who's having their portfolios looked at. So thank you so much. If you're in the chat, feel free to ask questions. We might have questions for you, so just answer them as we get to your portfolios. If anyone else has any questions, then also fire away. But we're going to start off today with Laura Galli, I think is how you would pronounce it. I'm not entirely sure, but if you're here, Laura, then say hi in the chat. Let us know. I can see you already. Amazing. Hello. It's lovely to see you.
Hi, Laura.
Hello. So I'll just do a quick recap over what Laura submitted with their portfolio, just to remind you and also to give some context to everybody else.
Yes, please.
Yep. So Laura said that they want to land bigger gigs in tabletop RPGs and card games such as Magic the Gathering, Gwent, and Hearthstone. They're aware that the styles for those three are very different, but they would like to make sort of portfolio pieces in each style to show that they can cover all bases. They're also interested in some splash arts, which I think does come across in their portfolio a little bit. And they're sort of curious on how they could improve their portfolio to meet those goals of the tabletop RPGs and card games. So
Okay.
take it away.
Okay, cool. Yeah, first of all, nice portfolio. And hi, nice to meet you. Nice to see you. I definitely can see the Magic the Gathering influence right away. Like I'm just looking at this bazaar piece and I can see where you're aiming at, and I would say um, it's good to have like a primary direction and others kind of as a plan B, plan C. So I definitely see that you are more prone to the Magic the Gathering. You have this painterly style right from the bat. It's good that you are including your research, you're even like doing some studies of whatever you're going to be painting. So like the presentation is nice, you have some contact information here. The overall vibe, when I'm just like the first look, the first sight at your portfolio, I can see what project you are aiming for. So those are all pluses. You have your email, I can go lurk around in your Insta, Twitter, everything. So that's good. Um, Now for the bad news. So as always, I think we might all kind of start sounding like a broken record, but yeah, I do suggest getting rid of older pieces. So here, just like these bottom two are definitely something that I would get rid of on the portfolio, even though they might be like, yeah, they're cute, they might evoke some positive memories, they might have a sentimental value, like the first thing you've done for a certain project or something like that. Maybe just hide them, archive them, don't drag them with you. Another one that I would definitely hide from this particular illustration page is this one. Even though the Final Fantasy is kind of the like grabber, just because any like popular franchise, any popular like universe grabs attention just through kind of naming it and adding hashtags and whatnot. Uh, this just doesn't look on par with your latest work. So, and especially like it has plenty of alarming anatomy mistakes, like this arm, um, things like that. It just like throws a person looking at it away, like the neck is not growing out of the body in the correct place. This all lowers the overall bar of the portfolio, so I would try to get rid of this kind of stuff. These, for example, this one and this mage, they already look way much better. They look way more confident. They are better in terms of anatomy, angle, pose, everything. So I would just keep going. And if it means you need to cut off like half of your portfolio, well, it happens sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the reality of growing your skill. Like this one is really cool, and I want to accentuate several parts, several kind of like traits that you have at your possession that are kind of looking very, very good to me. First of all, the color choices that you make. Sometimes you can get a bit muddy in certain areas when there is a complex lighting situation and you get kind of uncertain on what amount of local color, what amount of the color from the lighting, and what color of the shadow it should be. It kind of might get a bit muddy in some areas, but in general it's nice, it's painterly, the colors are interesting, vibrant, they convey the mood nicely. So that is definitely a positive. Um, but the general place with your work that I can see, and it's actually the same with these like uh concept art kind of pieces as well as the illustrations. You tend to go very flat in terms of how you add volume, and it might become a style. It might be your just conscious choice of going into this more kind of like book illustration kind of vibe. Even here, like I can see those, like there is a little bit of texture, there are kind of like more of a local colors, it's very stylized, it's very like graphical looking in some
Mhm.
areas, you like adding graphic elements. So it might be an artistic choice, but this is something that I would suggest consciously thinking about and making a decision. Like here, for example, there is another like cool example that it's very it's very flat in general, like it's very decorative, if you know what I mean. So like these two ducks, they're obviously painted from the reference, so they look fine,
Mhm.
but they also look very, very flat. And I would even like turn them into slits even to like having more just like the visual impact benefit. I would say another thing, and probably the last thing, I would try if you're dabbling in this area, like, you know, Magic the
Mhm.
Gathering illustrations, or like generally speaking, card illustrations like Gwent. Um, I would think more about the angle. Uh, if it helps you, you can think about it as a camera angle. If it helps, you can think about it as a point of view. Like who are you in the scene and where you are observing this thing with
Mhm.
this scene from. Oh, it's a mouthful. Because you kind of have this generic angle that we all kind of start drawing from, like, yeah, the figure will be somewhere here. We're not really thinking about the angles, the perspective, anything, but it could really benefit you if you, for example, like in this image, you could just plant us a bit lower, and maybe we're one of the creatures this lady is taking care of, and we're kind of like next for the cuddles, next for like maybe having some food or something like that. So it just it just elevates the impact that you have with your piece. So this is something to consider. So yeah, I would say angle and working with light, and just like making a decision, are you on the more decorative side or more on the realistic side of
Mhm.
things. And it kind of trickles down to some just basic studies before you start. I see you're improving from your old work to the newer work with your anatomy, shapes, and everything, but in some places it's still a bit um, like not quite confident, not quite there.
Mhm.
Could be improved in terms of drawing. That will also boost the result quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think I'm done here. If you have any questions, please let us know.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you have any questions, Laura, before we move on, then yeah, let us know. Let's see what they've said. Angle, graphic elements, and being careful with light and colors. Got it. I'm already thinking about how to rework some work in progresses, so this really helps. Um,
Perfect then.
yeah, no questions. This is fantastic. Great.
Well, yeah, great. And thank you for submitting your portfolio. It was
Yes.
really fun to look at. So, yeah, but we're going to move forward. And the next one is Julie. I would not dare to try to pronounce your surname. I'm sorry. So, Julie.
Yeah, I was going to say there's another one later on that I'm scared of pronouncing, so I might ask you to pronounce that one. Um, but yes, Julie, you're in chat. Perfect. Hello. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for submitting. Yeah, it's French. Yeah, that's why I'm not even going to try. It means the leaf. Oh, that's quite cute. That's nice. I
That
like
I
that.
actually Googled and I actually listened to a couple of examples of how to pronounce, and I'm still very uncertain about my ability to do that. So pardon me. It's very cute, and yeah, it's good that you're here. And let's start.
Yeah. Do you want me to read you a
Yes,
little recap? Perfect.
yes, I would.
Julie said that they're currently working in industry as a concept artist already, so congratulations.
Mhm.
But they would like to be a world builder like I believe it's Baldi Conjin, who
Mhm.
did some work on Wayfinder, League of Legends Ruined King, and Darksiders Genesis. I did a little bit of
Yes.
research. And they'd like to hear, once again, any next steps, portfolio improvements on how they can uh, more achieve that goal, that world building goal.
Uh, okay, so yeah, Baldi is a god. Let's just agree on that part. Glad it's settled. From the first look at the portfolio, I can say the first impression is very positive. You have your email, you have your information, what you're interested in, you have your socials. Good job. Uh, my second look, the portfolio itself, like the previews look interesting enough for me to just like go and look at every single one of them, which is good as well. I would say that probably I know it's a new layout of the R station, and it kind of I'm still not over this change. I'm cycling through my stages of grief here. But I think it's like a common thing. Probably you guys, like all of you, me included, we would like to have a look at how the header image
Yeah.
that we have on our portfolio pages, our station pages, currently looks, because it might not look as good as it used to be.
Mhm.
First of all, because yeah, this is kind of like a weird way how this lady is now being cut by the preview. Maybe it's just a monitor thing, but I also would say she's not your strongest image,
Okay.
in my opinion at least. So I would like even go with this Sphinx lady, and I think it will have a bit more impact and will illustrate a bit more of who you are as an artist and while you are pursuing, a bit better than this splash kind of illustration.
Mhm.
Yeah, now let's dig in.
Let's take a look. Ah, I love
Yeah,
these.
I yeah, it's just there is something so satisfying in those
Hmm.
isometric like in-game view VFX
Yeah.
designs that I really love seeing it. It's so interesting. It's so just like really cool.
Yeah.
What I would say doesn't really work for me in these. Like there are definitely things that do work, but some of them um if I was the VFX artist in the studio, I wouldn't be so sure what do you mean by this area. For example, it looks like kind of like quicksand or like waves or something, so it kind of like
Yeah.
it's supposed to like grab you, I guess. And like the name snare, um, AOE kind of suggest, but it's not exactly clear. And also in game, where there is lots of stuff happening, I wouldn't be sure what is it? Like it could as well with this color and this kind of like, yeah, it's just round, it's glowing, there are some like particles floating around. It's not that different from the healing VFX,
Hmm.
which can be confusing, and where there are like so many abilities going on in this kind of games normally, I would try to really carefully think about how your positive and negative effects can be easily distinguished between one another.
Hmm.
Um, Again, like not exactly sure how this works, so it kind of shows two things, and it shows how she morphs from like one kind of her state, like a bit more sunny and like good magic, into kind of like more bad magic, like twilight something. But also, like, is it a teleportation as well, or is it just her changing the state, and does she really need this kind of going through the portal thing if it's just confusing, and if it kind of takes time in terms of gameplay? So if you're saying that you want to be a world builder, this is something I would think about, because currently these are kind of cute and cool in terms of how you can envision certain processes be, and they might work in the illustration as well. So you can think about this kind of effect on the ground, and you can then use it in the illustration. It might look cool. But if you're building a world, a game, if you're working together with game designers, level designers, and you're trying to propose certain visuals, it's good if you think about them and you try to kind of like maybe get rid of some of the like extra bits and pieces that
Hmm.
might get confusing. Like for example, this one, I would say this is a portal, like Symmetra kind of portal in the Overwatch. And if it's just change of state, like like sun powered moonkin and moon powered moonkin, I would say just like needs to be changed like that, without
Yeah.
going in space or something like that. This one is pretty successful, so like I really can see that, like, yeah, this is the area damage, no
It's gonna be
questions asked.
it's gonna be ouch.
uh yeah, it's gonna be ouch. It has some states. It kind of like suggests to the VFX artist what to do with this, so that is good.
Mhm.
This one definitely related to this kind of magic, but it's a simple, like quick shot, so all good. Self buff, I assume it's like draining, also works nicely.
Mhm.
So out of these three, I would say this one is the most like thought through part. And with this, I would definitely work a bit more when not like with these particular ones, but when you are thinking about the character and how they behave, what abilities they possess, and everything, I would just try to pay attention to this kind of stuff. How well it reads, how well it translates. Is it what I'm trying to say about the nature of this character?
Mhm. Just
Oh,
just
yeah.
quickly on that other one, we did have a quick question. I don't know if you'll have the
Okay.
answer, but we can give it a shot. It was what are the common separators for VFX abilities, like that the contrast between healing and damage spells? Like, what is a clear way to separate the two?
Um, well, there is no just cut and dry
Yeah.
answer, because for example, like my favorite example is green magic can be both. It can be like
Hmm.
necromancy, flying skulls, and it can be a druid healing, kind of like leafy stuff. I think it's always the combination of the color,
Hmm.
shape, area, kind of like the value of the color, because
Yeah.
usually the shinier something is, the better it is. And like the lower kind of the value range is, it kind of evokes like the dark magic. So if it's dark green, it's probably like tentacles or,
Yeah.
or something like that. But it's, again, it's not a rule. So you just need to kind of check yourself all the time what kind of shape language. And also with the VFX, the thing is that the VFX is not only the color and the shape, it's also a movement, a
Yeah.
timing, and like the way it travels across the screen. So that's why I'm saying that these parts can be a bit confusing on this sheet, because I'm not sure how they travel.
Hmm.
and like I'm not sure how they behave, and the VFX artist might not be sure how to animate this kind of stuff and how to make it more dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's the combination of everything that it makes. And if something is not exactly clear, I would opt out to make a quick GIF out
Hmm.
of it, learn how to do it, and just see if the vibe is vibing.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah,
I think,
I hope I hope it answers.
yeah, I was going to say, I think a good thing that you could also do is, like, I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure Julie probably did this, but is also like just show it to someone um, once you've
Yeah,
done it,
yeah,
because yeah,
yeah,
other people get vibes that you might, you drawing it might think, oh yeah, this is clearly
yeah.
quicksand, but someone like when I looked at it briefly, I thought it was some kind of like fire effect or something, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
fire didn't even cross my mind. So yeah, that's a good thing.
mm,
But also with asking people, try not to take like everything too close to
yes,
heart,
yeah,
because people sometimes just have fun uh vocalizing the weird associations they have
mhm,
about something. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change something. So
yeah,
just take it with a grain of salt, and yeah, just see how things work for you, for others, if they convey the effect you want to convey.
yeah. But now
Uh,
the fun Sphinx.
yeah, fun things. I was waiting for. Yeah,
Yeah.
first of all, the shapes are lovely, and what I was trying to say as well, like this is clearly a concept artist portfolio, because I'm more drawn to the stuff that is concept art
Hmm.
more than the illustration, and like the impact of the shapes and the pose and the facial expression on this sphinx is just like so much more impactful than, for example, this
Hmm.
character, because you kind of like I think when people start rendering things and start thinking about all everything at once, I kind of get overwhelmed, especially having the concept art background. I have the concept art background as well, and I know it was very hard for me to understand the transition. Like, what's the difference between concept art and illustration? How to make things work in the illustration? Why my normal concept art approach doesn't work in the illustration? And it all kind of trickles down to we work differently with color, with lighting, with
Yeah.
angles in the concept art. So you are obviously like way better with your concept art than with splash. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to make illustration if you want to make illustration, but this is something to be very conscious about, that you kind of need to develop kind of a separate set of skills for
Hmm.
this. I would definitely put like this, like on the header. She will sell your portfolio right away. You have lots of research. The shapes are delicious. There is just like you open this post for like seeing just the cool sphinx, and this just like gets just cooler and cooler. I would definitely like continue developing this stuff. I would proudly plaster it on my banner everywhere. Like this is top notch. I would definitely see how this can be successfully modeled. So yeah, this is good. With this stuff, I appreciate that, like in comparison with the another like set of VFX stuff that we discussed, it explains a bit more the way it works
Hmm.
in the world. So yeah, this is kind of a better way, I think, of showing off your VFX, especially if you're looking for stuff, and maybe try to kind of implement it to your in-game views. Like for example, it's very interesting how this storm cloud is going to look in-game. And another thing, again, to think about, is it that opaque as I see to be? And in this top-down view in the game, will it just completely cover the character,
Yeah.
and it can be no bueno, and maybe you need to make it a donut instead of a like singular cloud or something like that. Yeah, these are cool researches, and the shape language and the poses that you are implementing as a part of the VFX, top notch. That
Yeah.
that
I was gonna
that
say
is that is a like from me.
yeah, the shapes are
Um,
really nice.
Yeah. And like here, I also see these shapes and I see that there are some areas that you are comfortable with rendering, but at the same time, yeah, like the lighting is very diffuse. There are some like very unfortunate tangents, the use of like the saturation and this like all over rim light on every side of this person, it just doesn't help to sell the image. And even having a lens flare as a wow effect, it doesn't really help. The facial expression is cool, so you have
Hmm.
your artistic like understanding of how things work, but you definitely like, yeah, if you want to dabble with illustration, I think you really need to take maybe some courses in terms of how to work with light, how to work with the materials and stuff like that, because you have your gesture, you have your shapes, you have your pose. Like the exploration for these is fun, is a lot of
Hmm.
fun. I really love it. It's just, yeah, the illustration rendering part kind of like um is less appealing. These are, yeah, these are amazing. I would maybe experiment with um they kind of get a little bit repetitive in terms of I would probably go a bit more, yeah, like this. Like there is a wider variety in your pencil sketches in terms of how the shapes can vary.
Hmm.
Um there are a bit too many things. Maybe I will drop some of them that look a bit too similar to the rest of the stuff. But yeah, the concept art is quite strong. And I see this is 2 years ago. You evolved quite a bit from these characters, so maybe just like even drop them out of out of your portfolio, because this one is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I
Whoa.
like her. I like her. I really like him as well. They're all beautiful. So yeah, the older drop the older ones. Keep on your great A plus concept game. uh, Try to be a bit more of a game designer in terms of how you design things
Hmm.
for for the characters, especially if you're dabbling into like VFX animations and everything. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. I was going to say just quickly, was there? Do you feel like the the VFX work is do you think that's beneficial to their overall goal? Like, working more into that, like Baldi's work, that world building style. Do you think it benefits that, or do you think it doesn't really do anything for it? Or
I think it benefits it
Mhm.
because I feel that VFX concept art is something that many people struggle with,
Yeah.
and VFX is a whole separate thing that is very tightly connected to the both illustration, but in their own way.
Hmm.
Like VFX in illustration is a whole separate beast, and VFX in concept art is quite important. It's usually, even if it's ingrained in the character, just a part of their design, like some like fiery
Yeah.
shoulder pads or something, you really need to provide a good benchmark for the VFX artist who is going to work on it, and it will be kind of like self-explanatory. It
Hmm.
will save a lot of time, nerves, and just like, you know, everything. So
Yeah.
it's a good addition.
Okay.
I would not separate it from the concept work. So yeah, all good
Awesome.
there, and like a good variety: VFX, characters, props. Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you very much, and thanks again, Julie, for the submission. Great work. Keep it up.
Yep,
Um,
yep. Thank you so
cool.
much. And yeah, next one is Ksenia Ivanchenko. Hello.
Thank you. That was the one I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to try and pronounce this. So this one was, yeah, in Discord. The name is Meet. Hello. They're in chat. Hi, Meet. How's it going? Um, so they submit something fairly straightforward. They just asked for
Mhm.
general improvements and feedback on how to stand out more to recruiters or people who would be looking at portfolios and stuff like that. So
Okay. Well, hello. Thanks for submitting your portfolio. Nice to meet you. Um, From what I see, like it strikes me as, yeah, it kind of it has its target audience for sure. You
Hmm.
have your email, you don't have much of a socials, but it's okay. I don't either. It's all right. So yeah, maybe add a bit of a description what you can do, what job you're looking for, because looking for a job is a bit wide,
Hmm.
but you are at least interested in, yeah, literally everything, and you have the way to contact you, so that's good, but can be a little bit more elaborate on that part. On this screen, yeah, again, as I say, I kind of like, I see the target audience, so that's a plus, but I also can see this egg 3 times, and it kind of like overwhelms me a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe, maybe, maybe put something else here. I would say I would even like go with your like little props or something, so that it's not repeated so many times, or with some of your like cool characters. I remember this lady. I remember this lady. I don't remember where I actually saw her, but I remember her. Another thing, with all these folders, I mean, it is considered a good thing, but just like a kind of a, I don't even know how to call it. Like, it's not a reminder, it's not a tip. It's just there are some people like me. If I see all the folders and then I see a folder all, I will never go into separate folders. I will
Yeah.
go in the all folder. So you need to make sure you're happy with how the all folder looks.
Hmm.
Just saying. um yeah, nice style. There are again some remnants of the past right away, like the whole lower row can go, and like, yeah, look how much better it looks without it. It can be just this, and just like everything below, I
Yeah.
would I would get rid of. Um, Here it's relatively consistent. I want to say that it's good that you kind of crop your preview images in a kind of a similar way, but in this way, these kind of stand out. And I don't know if it's something you want to do, and if you can do something about it to make it a bit more consistent with this, because when you have something very simple like this carrot basket,
Hmm.
um, it kind of turns everything else around it into the noise, and like all my attention goes to this carrot, and it's really hard for me to like start looking at anything else.
Hmm.
So it's just something to be aware of, that this kind of contrast between work, it might kind of skew the perception of one of the pieces at least.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, let's have a look at the props. Some meat. Very solid, very straightforward description. It is some meat. It looks nice. It looks good in the preview, so I think it could be an icon or something like that. Yeah, nothing really to add here. It's a meat. Uh, is it is it inspired by Nikita Bulatov's I don't remember his game is called.
uh, I can try and find it.
You can try and find it. Yeah. This is just like a question. This is a nice exploration. It's again, it's clearly targeted at the mobile game. There are some UI elements. I would say that I would try to finish all the UI elements to the same level of finesse,
Hmm.
because otherwise it's just not quite clear. Can you do this, or this is your like top result that you can achieve, and like you know how to render certain things, but then you have no idea how to finish these things. So I would just try, if you are creating this like mock uh like mobile game screen, I would try to push it, or
Hmm.
keep it like more simple, like this is research and this is the final thing. here they're kind of overlap a little bit with one another. So I think in general it looks great, but this little thing bothers me a little bit.
Yeah.
Characters, nice shapes, nice
Hmm.
colors, very bold brush strokes. You have some nice, just like drawing skills. Everything works, like the pose works, the gesture works, the facial expression is nice. Um, with the color exploration, I think it's relatively like it's quite well done, but it looks like you had your favorite, and the third version was just thrown in, just like I need a third version.
Yeah.
I would try to avoid it because not because it like looks worse or something. It sometimes does, not in this case, but the client might choose the one that you love the least, and then you will be suffering through the option that you just threw in, like just for the sake of throwing it in.
Hmm.
It's no fun. Been
Yeah.
there, done that.
Even as Melissa said, it's the rule. It's
It's
the
the
rule.
rule, yes.
Yeah.
So if you are not ready to re- to commit into every single one of the options you provide, you are in a dangerous territory, I would say. Yeah, lovely. Well, here, I see you could have committed into literally every single one of them. Again, nice shapes, nice drawing skills. Um, the rendering is I would say the weaker side of
Hmm.
your work because it can be grouped and balanced a little bit more to have the same impact as your research does. So I would try to work with like contrast and having this random splashes of this contrast um, in the final presentation and push it a bit further. But generally speaking, I think, yeah, I think it looks good. You have a kind of a clear direction what you want to do.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah, I would get rid of the older stuff again. I just
Hmm.
went to have a closer look. Like, yeah, it's very cute. It's
That's cute.
animated. It's a shark dog, but it's kind of a little bit like it's a tiny GIF
Hmm.
on a big screen, and it's a little bit underwhelming after seeing your like this stuff, for
Yeah.
example. And also like even the latest ones, I would say like I'm surprised that this one is the latest one, and I get that this is probably you're trying to tread into the 3D base territory,
Hmm.
but it just looks like a step back for me. And also you kind of like you created the lighting scenario in the blockout in 3D blockout, but then you divided it into so many separate uh like light catching and shadow creating elements that you kind of lost the point of this overall
Hmm.
volume. So yeah, rendering is something to work a bit more on, and maybe just like keep this for Twitter, like this kind of experiments. Yeah, I made my 3D blockout, I added some lighting, I rendered it in, I don't know, some engine, probably even afterwards. um, Here is how it looks, but it's not like a portfolio piece,
Yeah.
I would say.
I think
Yep.
I was going to say for me the jump in quality. You see, there's
Mm-hmm.
the like purple. There's like the purple pig guy. In
Purple guy.
Yeah, it's like a pig dude just
Big
hanging
dude.
out. Uh,
Big dude. Oh, yeah, this.
there. Yeah, so it's like a lot of the stuff that's listed before that. Like I
Yeah,
feel like there's that big jump in quality there. Um,
I keep doing this.
yeah.
Yeah, I will start. Yeah, yeah, I agree actually, because I mean, yeah, I would get rid of him I would get rid of like probably I said just one row, but maybe like two rows.
Hmm.
And there are certain jumps like with this owl and with
Hmm.
this pig guy. And I also was kind of looking at this gnome because he kind of it kind of falls out a bit again, probably because it's you attempting the rendering part, and the rendering part is on the weaker side, especially when you are trying to go for a less like mobile game casual
Hmm.
stylized look to a more rendered style. So again, it's a separate thing, and you need to pay attention to the value grouping, the color grouping, the way you add volume and stuff like that when you attempt like the full blown render. When you
Hmm.
are in your stylized element, it looks very organic and it comes across nicely.
Yeah, awesome. Is that everything for that one? Sorry, you're having a
Yes,
drink.
unless we have any questions.
um, yeah, yeah. If you have any questions, then by all means fire away. I was going to say, I think the horned character, I recognize it from it was uploaded as a community like draw this in your style on Discord. So
Right.
in
Maybe
the
because I remember her and I was like, "Oh, she's cute. I like
yeah,
her."
yeah, yeah, it looks awesome. So
Yeah.
if anyone likes it, then you can join the Discord and draw it in your style and show us what you got.
Smooth segue.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm getting good. I'm getting good.
Yeah, yes. Yes, definitely.
Thank you. I have no questions. Awesome. Well, you're welcome. I hope you found it
Okay.
helpful.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, hope it helps.
yeah.
Thanks for submitting it. It was really, like, again, another fun portfolio to look at. And we are moving to Joel Robertson.
Yes. If you're here, Joel, then say hi. If not, then don't say anything, and I'll send you a link after this. But Joel has said that they are looking to find work as a concept artist at studios focused around stylized or fantasy work, such as Blizzard, Riot, Wizards of the Coast, etc. Um,
Mm,
oh, they are in chat. Hello.
hello.
Um, they asked what pieces are worth taking out and what sort of thing should they be doing more of in their portfolio.
Um, okay, so from the first look, um, again, more concept art portfolio than
Hmm.
illustration portfolio. It's fine. It's just what I see. In the description, we have an email, we have a little bit of a description. So, all good here. Let's just go through the pieces and let's talk about them a little bit.
Yeah.
So, right from the bat, if you have the whole portfolio dedicated to the concept art, I would not put your experimental illustration as a first thing you will click if you just
Hmm.
want to go one by one. Um, oh, it's made for a competition. Aw, aw. um, so with the illustration, again, there is this genre of illustration, the illustration done by concept artists, that kind of like concept artists have this urge to show everything and explain everything very clearly. And it's like that's why, again, a very diffuse lighting, a very kind of like a bit of a top kind of view, point of view. I'm not sure who we are in this situation.
Hmm.
This dude is like he literally got partially cut out of the picture, like these were just like unwanted people getting into your frame when you're trying to take a photo at botanical garden, and you're like why couldn't you wait another 2 minutes? But at the same time, there are like cool things. Like if I zoom in, uh like I like how this like weird
Yeah.
mushrooms are rendered, and like there are those like nice slippery highlights on the blood, I assume. um so like there are some technical details that look good, but as an overall piece, it lacks work with light, with composition, with camera angle. and it's like very concept arty in the way it's executed, and I would probably get rid of people and keep it as like environment concept art. How is it like, when you're exploring how the new location will look like, you can do this, but also
Mhm.
like not the best piece you have in your portfolio. So I would at least not put it as a first one, as a preview for literally like two of your folders.
Yeah.
Another thing, again, I mentioned, I'm one of those people who just like portfolio sketches. I'm going into the all section.
Mhm.
Um, just sorry. And like, okay, if you want to get rid of some stuff in the portfolio, I can again quite like in the broad stroke from the scar like after this one, the bottles are fine, but from this Sylvie, the shifter, uh, I would definitely just get rid of everything past this one. So
Yeah.
these six are not doing you any favors from this side towards the latest pieces. Some nice like value work, like with very subtle value work. You show the materials, uh, you have some nice research. Your handwriting is very readable. Appreciate it. Um, some of these kind of like, maybe I would probably even like keep this post, but I would get rid of this one because from the first look it looks nice, but from the second, third, and fourth look, I just can't unsee that like this looks a bit too rough to
Mhm.
to present like the rendered crest. If it's like the rendered crest, like the World of Warcraft class crests, for example, it really needs more work, more rendering, and more balancing of the elements, because it just like divided into so many separate pieces, like these shafts, roses,
Mhm.
skull, like its eyes are covered with the scroll. Again, we have three almost identical in size seals, things like that. We have a little leaf falling out. We have like little scribbles here. It's just like too much when it's so unbalanced in terms of prioritizing things
Okay.
over one another. So yeah, maybe either drop it or just like put some more hours into it. These are a bit more interesting, so we're kind of like going upwards in the quality. So I think you can kind of leave it for the time being, unless you have like new piece. And when you add a new piece, I would say add one, delete one, add one,
Yeah.
delete one. So just phasing out all this older stuff. These are pretty cool. Maybe less text, more image. But yeah, we're like steadily going upwards. Here's like a very nice looking angle. Again, maybe a bit too noisy for this kind of uh, design, but yeah, kind of works. uh, with the representation of the areas, I would again suggest to simplify things and not overload it with like cross hatching and
Yeah.
stuff like that, because it makes it harder to read. But generally speaking, yeah, some environment design, that's good. Now we have some character design, we have some facial expressions, cloak options, the full body shot. I would say I would avoid putting everything, just like not having a beauty shot of just the character. Uh, you can add all this research later, and you can probably separate it into a couple different sheets, and it will be easier to look at and to actually see what you can do in terms of designing. Yeah, on this guy, the anatomy is not great. I would be a bit more conscious about it, especially when you kind of like, I feel like this is a photobashed arm, and when you have something photobashed and looking more real than the rest of the stuff, it makes it more obvious that like the arm length and arm placement and the volumes in the armor are not as realistic and are a bit off.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would take care about that. And then like I was like, yeah, like nice, nice, nice. And then these guys, I I don't know what happened. Um, I would remove these as well because it could be I see that these were a lot of fun and like magical properties and the shape language, and I can see how this can be fun, but this is not a portfolio piece, especially in the contrast with for example this cannon that I really liked. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
This one looks cool. Like there is some like really nice solid shapes. I can almost like touch the metal and the wooden parts, and I can hear how it rotates and like a bit of this metallic smell in the air when you just approach it, and it's just so good. And then I get to those blunts and I'm kind of starting to have questions what happened in between this and this. So yeah, plants, I would
Out,
say let them go.
out of curiosity, are these?
Mm.
Do you know if these are ordered by date? Because I know some people don't order them by date, so I'd be curious to
Even
know
if
if.
they are not by date, so it's past year, last year, last year, last year, last year. So they're
Oh,
all
okay.
like of the same age.
Yeah.
But like the quality jump, if it was an experiment, it's okay to have an experiment, but I would keep those experiments just like in the Discord server or something like
Mhm.
that. Because yeah, this is better than them, than there they are. Like the trees look better than this one, but I would just get rid of both of them to be
Mhm.
fair. And then we have like this guy, and he's pretty cool looking, like with some interesting shapes going on, like with some research, with some nice like brushwork, like very nice.
Yeah.
Uh, I would maybe tone down on like different fonts and just maybe not write anything or just like edit in your handwriting because it works nicely, but that's just like me nitpicking. Um, this guy looks pretty cool. I appreciate the like the rendered version. I'm not sure that again you need these two views on one sheet, so it's again kind of like coming back to having a bit too much on one sheet. I would say just have the fancy rendered one, then have like front and back on the separate one, and then you have your portrait and your portrait research.
Yeah.
And maybe again, like maybe not all of these sheets are necessarily something that you um need and have to share because they kind of like lower the overall impact
Mhm.
of this post to me. So I would really love to just see this guy without any text, without anything, just as a separate, just like line there when you open this post, and it will work better in terms of portfolio presentation for sure. Um, and then we have like again, this is a bit random to me.
Yeah.
Like there is a solid guy like nicely designed, and then there is just like a random helmet that is not that nicely rendered, so it's
Mhm.
just like going in waves, like the overall quality in the portfolio. So I
Yeah.
would just like have a really nice good look at all of this and make some decisions what stays, what goes, and I would try to keep it as consistent as possible
Mhm.
and go from there.
Cool.
Like these are pretty nice. Like I like the props being more hand painted, hand rendered. uh this lady kind of moves into the category of a bit too digital even for digital. She also has some certain anatomy issues, like I'm not sure where her crotch area is, like this
Mhm.
shoulder is a bit off and stuff like that. But yeah, if it was the artwork critique, we would dive
Dive
deep
into it.
into
Yeah.
this. But yeah, here it's just like uh anatomy is definitely something to work on, and you cannot overcompensate the drawing mistakes with this like going all in with all the overlays and everything,
Hmm.
like digital effects to just like make sure that no one sees it. We see it.
Yeah.
So this stuff works better for me because it's just
Yeah.
like honest rendering, nice shapes, some nice brush strokes. And yeah, this is like my general impression of the whole thing. And I would say, yeah, it's just like
It just fluctuates.
it's all over the place. It's
Yeah.
fluctuating a lot. Like you can see some really nice research, some really nice shape, but then kind of like maybe tone down on what you are sharing, because these even don't see that they are part seem to be a part of this particular project.
Yeah.
So kind of curate yourself and your portfolio and what you are putting out there, especially if you are currently in the search of work. And also like, yeah, I personally love lurking into like the biggest categories. So here I would definitely see that like these like four bottom rows that I would probably just drop and keep the higher part, except several pieces here. But also some of them are really nice and I would include them into your
Hmm.
portfolio because yeah, again, shapes on this one are quite nice. This character, again, fluctuation, so it kind of like doesn't even seem to me that the same person drawn them. So
Yeah.
maybe drop some of this, like again, curate yourself, drop some of the least appealing pieces and just try to be really selective and really picky about
Hmm.
what you're putting out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Awesome. I think we have a couple minutes left, so if you have any questions, then we'd we'd love to answer them. It doesn't have to be just from Joel either. If anyone else has any questions,
Mm.
then fire away. But I don't think we have time to do any more, unfortunately.
Oh
Um,
no. Oh no.
oh no.
Oh no.
Um, Zirion said, I've been here for 5 minutes and I've already learned so much. I can't wait for the next portfolio review. Yeah, well, yeah, be sure to rewatch it as well. It'll be on YouTube as well. It'll stay on Twitch for 2 weeks, I think. Um, uh, Melissa says, I have a question, Jaden. Did you hydrate enough today? I did. I saw we had a hydration redemption earlier, and I did take a drink, but I did it quietly as to not interrupt. Um, I'll also take another second to thank. I did see Pixel Ninja. Thank you for your subscription. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, but I very much appreciate it. I'm sure the rest of Moon Colony does as well. So thank you. I hope you enjoy. You get to use your fun new emotes. Um, Hopefully, you can get picked up next time. Yes. So the next portfolio review will probably be in January now. We'll have an art critique in December. So join the Discord. You'll get notified whenever submissions for that open up. So yes, that'll be good for singular art pieces. But our next portfolio review probably won't be until January. But I will let you know if anything changes. It all depends. We're all very busy people. But thank you so much to Rin as well. I know it can be a bit stressful, but I hope you didn't find it too bad, and
Yeah,
it
it,
meant a
it
lot.
wa- it was better than I expected. It was my first time, so pardon me if I mumbled and rumbled a little bit, but
No,
yeah, I hope it was helpful.
you were fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone in chat as well. It was great to see you all like supporting each other and saying how much you loved each other's work. So we've posted everybody's portfolios in the chat today as well. So make sure to check them out, give them some love, give them a follow, and support them and everything they do as they go forward. But until tomorrow, I've got Leonie back again tomorrow. We're going to do our last two portraits. So I believe. Let me just. Interesting. We might see Rin again tomorrow.
Oh,
But we'll see.
okay. I was just about to say it's like 80 of us from
Yeah.
the recent checks, so like how it can be two
Yeah, no,
last ones.
yeah, no, we will we'll see how many more we do. Depends how many people still want to see it. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll have Leonie back again tomorrow. So come along to that. Follow if you aren't already. But until then, I will see you later. Goodbye, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye, Rin.
Thank you so
And
much. Bye,
bye,
guys.
everyone.